Commander Elias Drake adjusted the straps of his spacesuit as the small shuttle descended toward the gray surface of the moon. The lunar dust stretched endlessly below him, broken only by the jagged remains of rock formations. For years, humans had left colonies scattered across the solar system, but most were abandoned long before. This one was different. The records had spoken of a thriving settlement, built to experiment with advanced propulsion technology, but communications had gone dark decades ago. No one had returned and no one had reported any activity, until now. The shuttle's landing legs crunched against the uneven surface. Elias's breath echoed faintly in his helmet, the sound a small reminder that he was alive and human in a place long forgotten. The colony's outline came into view. Geometric buildings, now gray and cracked, shadows stretching across silent streets. Dust had settled in thick layers over solar panels and airlocks, giving the structures a frozen, ghostly look. Elias stepped out of the shuttle, boots sinking slightly into the powdery lunar surface. He activated his scanner, a soft blue light running across the ground detecting traces of energy and life forms. The readings were mostly dead. Nothing moved, no signals emitted, but there were pockets of faint energy in some of the colony's central buildings. Something had been left running, or someone or something was still here. He adjusted his visor and walked toward the nearest building, a tall structure that had once been the colony's command center. The airlock hissed as it opened, revealing a dark corridor lined with panels and screens, most of which were blank. A layer of dust coated the floor, disturbed only by the occasional fallen object, like a chair or a cracked console. The silence was absolute except for the soft hum of his own life support system. As he moved deeper into the building, Elias began scanning walls for records. A flicker of light caught his eye. One of the panels had retained a faint holographic display. With a tap on his wrist console, he activated it and a ghostly figure appeared. A colonist recording a log. Day 134, the hologram said, voice trembling slightly. Power fluctuations continue. We have tried to stabilize the main reactor, but the energy readings are unusual. We may need to leave soon if this continues. Elias watched, fascinated. The recording ended abruptly, leaving only the echo of static. He made a note in his pad. The colonists had left in a hurry, perhaps fearing the same energy anomaly that now lingered in the moon's underground network. He explored room after room. Laboratories once filled with experiments now sat abandoned. Instruments were coated in gray dust. Test tubes shattered and data pads lay scattered across the floor. One lab, larger than the rest, contained what looked like a prototype engine, a compact unit designed for deep space travel. Elias could almost feel the human ingenuity that had gone into it. It had been daring, risky, and ambitious. Humans had always reached for the stars, and here was proof that even in isolation they had not stopped trying. The corridors began to twist and turn, leading him toward the center of the colony. He passed living quarters where personal items remained. A child's toy lay on the floor, frozen in time. A photograph, faded but recognizable, showed smiling faces, families of the colonists who had once called this place home. Elias paused, thinking of the people who had lived, worked, and dreamed here. He wondered what had driven them to leave everything behind. Then he heard it. A soft metallic sound, almost like a whisper, coming from deeper in the colony. He froze, hand resting on his sidearm, though he doubted it would matter. The sound repeated, rhythmic and deliberate. Elias's heart raced. Was it a machine? Another human? He approached cautiously, following the faint echo through winding corridors and stairwells. The sound led him to a large chamber at the base of the colony's tallest building. The room had been a maintenance hub, filled with tools and consoles that once controlled the colony's operations. And there in the corner was a faint blue glow, an energy signature that his scanner identified as still active. He crouched low, moving closer. To his astonishment, a small robot covered in dust was slowly moving across the floor. Its sensors blinked as it detected Elias. The robot paused, then tilted slightly as if studying him. Elias smiled, relieved. It was harmless, a leftover of the colony's automated systems. But the fact that it was still operational after decades alone amazed him. Humans had built machines to survive the void, and here it was, waiting for someone to notice it. Elias knelt beside it and accessed its memory logs. The robot had been programmed to maintain the colony and record anomalies. Its last entries detailed strange energy readings in the lower sectors of the colony, near what had been the experimental propulsion hangar. The logs were incomplete, but they suggested that something extraordinary had been left behind, a project so significant that it might explain why the colonists disappeared. A thrill ran through Elias. He had always believed in human ingenuity, but this was beyond anything he had imagined. A colony lost to time, yet leaving behind a mystery that could redefine exploration itself. He took a deep breath, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. The moon was quiet, yet it held secrets waiting for someone brave enough to uncover them. He continued moving through the colony, now heading toward the lower levels. The corridors narrowed and the walls became colder, almost as if the building itself resisted intrusion. Dust swirled around his boots with every step. Occasionally a panel would flicker, showing glimpses of old holograms, colonists moving, working, laughing. It was like stepping into a ghostly memory, one that honored human persistence even in isolation. At one point, Elias entered what had once been the colony's central communications hub. Consoles were shattered, screens cracked, but a faint signal was detectable on one channel. It was weak, intermittent, but it hinted at a hidden power source somewhere beneath the colony. He marked it on his map, curiosity sharpening his focus. Humans had built this place to survive and to explore, and something had been left behind. Something the colony had trusted would be discovered by a human mind. Elias paused at the top of a stairwell leading to the colony's deepest level. The metallic hum he had first heard earlier grew louder, vibrating faintly through the floor. He gripped the railing, feeling a mix of anticipation and caution. Whatever lay below could explain the fate of the colonists, or it could be something far more dangerous. He activated his helmet lights, illuminating the descending stairs. Each step echoed in the silent chamber, a reminder that he was alone. But he did not feel fear, only a profound respect for the ingenuity of the humans who had built this place. They had left clues, machines, and recordings relying on someone like him to continue their work. Finally, he reached the bottom of the stairwell. The chamber before him was enormous, stretching far into darkness. Massive doors, sealed and reinforced, blocked his view of what lay beyond. The faint energy readings pulsed from behind them, steady and strong. Elias could almost hear the pulse in his own chest, a rhythmic call to discovery. He placed his hand on the door controls, his fingers trembling slightly with excitement. The mechanisms whirred to life, dust falling from the edges, and the doors slowly creaked open. Beyond them lay shadows of structures he could not yet identify, bathed in faint blue light. Elias stepped forward, heart pounding. The silence was complete, but it was no longer empty. It was alive with potential. Somewhere in this abandoned colony a secret waited, and he, a lone human, was about to uncover it. As he moved further into the unknown, Elias could not help but smile. Humanity had once again reached beyond its limits, leaving behind a challenge that demanded courage, intelligence, and determination. And he, walking through the shadows of a long-forgotten moon colony, was ready to meet it. The adventure had begun. Commander Elias Drake paused at the threshold of the hidden chamber, letting his eyes adjust to the dim bluish light that seeped through cracks in the walls. The air was thick with dust, and the faint hum of energy echoed off the metal surfaces. The size of the chamber amazed him. It stretched far beyond what the colony's records had suggested, as if this underground section had been purposefully hidden from even the most detailed maps. Elias's boots made soft, hollow sounds on the metallic floor as he stepped cautiously forward. His scanner detected a mixture of old machinery and lingering energy signatures, some of which were unfamiliar. He crouched near a console covered in dust and activated it. Slowly, a holographic display flickered to life, projecting the images of the colonists as they worked long ago. Day 142, a voice echoed through the chamber. Elias recognized it as one of the logs he had seen before. The propulsion tests were successful, but the energy readings are higher than predicted. The crew is concerned, but hope remains. The hologram shifted, revealing a lab filled with equipment he had never seen before. Sleek engines connected to glowing conduits pulsed with energy. The colonists moved with urgency, their hands adjusting panels and dials, yet their expressions carried determination and curiosity. Elias felt a thrill. Humans had always sought the unknown, and here was proof that even in isolation they had pursued the impossible. He took notes, carefully documenting the equipment and energy patterns. The hologram changed again, showing a smaller group of colonists gathered around a hatch leading deeper underground. One of them spoke, her voice calm but firm. "We must continue," she said. "The experiment could change everything. If it works, we can reach the stars faster than anyone has imagined." Elias realized the full scope of their ambition. The colony had been attempting something beyond simple survival or local exploration. They had been pushing the boundaries of human potential, striving to reach regions of space previously unreachable, yet something had gone wrong. The logs ended abruptly, leaving only fragments of the colonists' final days. He moved deeper into the chamber, following the hum of machinery. The walls were lined with panels, some flickering with life, others completely dark. Elias could feel the energy beneath his feet, subtle but persistent, as though the colony itself still held a heartbeat. Dust swirled in the light of his helmet, and he imagined the colonists moving through the same corridors decades ago, working tirelessly to complete their mission. Elias discovered a series of personal journals, neatly stored in a compartment near one of the panels. He picked one up and began reading. The handwriting was careful, precise, but there were moments of worry, fear, and hope. Energy levels rising faster than anticipated. One entry read, "The ship may be ready before the colony. If anything happens to us, it must be used for humanity's future. Someone must take it beyond the moon." Another entry described strange phenomena, lights that moved without explanation, equipment activating on its own, and fleeting shadows in the halls. The colonists seemed to believe that the moon held more than just dust and rock. They had sensed a presence, a force that could not be measured by instruments alone. Elias felt a shiver run down his spine. He had come seeking a lost spaceship, but it seemed that the colony had left him clues, puzzles, and challenges to test his wit and courage. It was as if the humans had anticipated that only another human could navigate what they had created. He continued walking, scanning the chamber carefully. In the center of the room, a series of conduits led down into darkness. His scanner detected a faint energy signature deep below, unlike anything he had encountered before. The pattern was irregular, almost like a heartbeat, and Elias realized it was not entirely mechanical. Some unknown power had been left behind, pulsing patiently, waiting for discovery. As he approached the conduits, he noticed a small panel glowing with blue light. Touching it activated a projection of the colony's final days. Colonists moved with urgency, communicating through holographic links, preparing for what they called the final launch. Their faces were determined, filled with hope for humanity's future. Then the images froze, leaving only static and faint echoes. Elias felt a sense of responsibility settle over him. These people had trusted the unknown, built machines to carry their dreams, and relied on human intelligence to continue what they had started. Now he was the one standing in their place, a lone human in the silent shadows of a lost colony. He explored the side corridors, finding rooms that had once served as living quarters, recreation areas, and research labs. Personal belongings remained untouched, books, toys, and photographs of families, all frozen in time. It was a poignant reminder that the colonists were not just explorers. They were humans with lives, hopes, and dreams. Suddenly, a low vibration ran through the floor. Elias froze. His scanner picked up a new reading, an energy spike near the far end of the chamber. Dust fell from the ceiling as the hum grew louder. He moved cautiously toward it, following the signal as it pulsed with increasing strength. At the end of the corridor, Elias found a massive door, reinforced with thick metal and intricate locking mechanisms. The energy readings were strongest here. He placed his hands on the control panel, and the locks clicked open slowly, dust billowing into the air. Beyond the doors lay a vast underground hangar, dark and enormous, stretching farther than he could see. Elias stepped inside, his visor lights illuminating shapes that seemed almost alive. Shadows shifted as if the room itself remembered the colony's presence. Massive machines, long dormant, lined the walls. In the center, a faint glow pulsed rhythmically. His heart raced as he moved closer. There, partially covered with dust and protective energy fields, was a spaceship unlike anything he had seen. Sleek, powerful, and designed for long-distance exploration, it seemed almost alive. Elias approached carefully, running his gloved hands over the ship's surface. The metal was cold but strangely responsive, as if recognizing the human touch. He activated the ship's external systems, and small lights flickered on. The AI interface, dormant for decades, began to hum softly. A voice, calm and analytical, spoke through the chamber's speakers. Human detected. Authorization required for mission continuation. Elias felt a thrill of excitement. This was it. The vessel the colony had built. The one left behind for someone brave enough to take humanity further into the stars. He realized that the colonists had not just vanished. They had planned for a successor, a human mind capable of understanding their work and carrying it forward. He began inspecting the ship's systems, noting the complexity and sophistication. Every panel, every console was designed for human operation, yet far beyond contemporary technology. Elias realized that the colonists had succeeded in their experiments, leaving behind a treasure of knowledge and capability. As he worked, faint mechanical noises echoed in the hangar. Small maintenance robots, long dormant, activated and began moving toward him. They were harmless, programmed to protect the ship and its systems, but Elias had to navigate carefully to avoid triggering their defense protocols. His movements were precise, his mind sharp, as he demonstrated human ingenuity against the perfectly designed machines of the past. Hours passed as he explored the hangar and familiarized himself with the ship. Holographic logs revealed fragments of the colonists' last mission plans. They had intended to explore distant stars, gather knowledge, and return to help humanity thrive. The logs ended abruptly, leaving Elias with a sense of urgency and responsibility. He paused and looked around the hangar, absorbing the silence and the weight of history. This was more than a discovery. It was a legacy. Humans had faced challenges, isolation, and the unknown. Yet they had built something extraordinary, relying on future humans to continue their mission. Elias felt a surge of determination. He was alone, but he was human, and humanity's greatest strength had always been courage, creativity, and the will to overcome impossible odds. The lost colony had waited for him, leaving behind the ultimate test, to awaken the ship, understand its purpose, and carry humanity's dreams into the universe. As the moon's faint light filtered through the hangar's high ceilings, Elias made a decision. He would continue the work of the colony, not for personal glory, but for the future of humanity. The ship, the technology, and the colonists' vision would not remain hidden. They would fly again, guided by human hands, human heart, and human determination. He took a deep breath, activating the ship's interface fully. Lights glowed brighter, panels hummed with power, and the AI voice spoke once more. Human pilot recognized. Mission parameters pending. Elias smiled. The shadows of the past were alive in the present, guiding him forward. Humanity had built the impossible once, and now it was up to him to ensure it would happen again. The adventure had deepened. The colony's secrets were no longer just history, they were a call to action. Elias Drake, alone in a forgotten moon colony, was about to step into a journey that would test the limits of courage, intelligence, and human spirit. And somewhere in the stillness of the lunar depths, the lost colony's legacy waited patiently to soar again. Commander Elias Drake stepped further into the underground hangar, his visor lights cutting through the dim bluish glow. The size of the chamber stunned him. It stretched farther than he could see, filled with the shadows of machines and structures long abandoned. The air smelled faintly metallic, carrying the sense of age and silence. Dust motes floated in the faint light, drifting lazily as though time itself had slowed in this hidden place. At the center of the hangar, partially covered by protective energy barriers and layers of dust, stood the spaceship. It was sleek, larger than any craft Elias had seen, designed not for short trips between planets but for deep space exploration. Its surface reflected the faint lights of the hangar, smooth and unbroken as if untouched by decades of neglect. Elias's heart quickened. This was the lost vessel of the colony's final mission, the one they had designed to explore stars far beyond humanity's reach. He crouched near the ship's control interface, brushing layers of dust from the panels. His scanner detected traces of power coursing through the ship, faint but alive. The AI system, dormant for decades, responded to his presence. A calm, analytical voice filled the hangar. Human detected. Identity verification required. Elias smiled faintly. Commander Elias Drake, he replied, his voice steady. I am authorized to access the vessel. The AI paused, then responded. Authorization confirmed. Welcome, human pilot. Mission parameters available upon activation. Elias felt a thrill. The ship had been waiting for him, or perhaps for someone like him. Humans had left behind not just technology but a challenge, proof that ingenuity, courage, and intelligence were still humanity's greatest assets. He felt the weight of responsibility settle over him. The colony's mission was not simply to survive. It was to continue humanity's reach into the stars. He began examining the ship's systems, noting the sleek interface and unfamiliar controls. It was designed for human operation, but far more advanced than anything he had encountered. Energy conduits glowed softly beneath translucent panels, while displays projected complex star charts and propulsion models. Elias realized that this ship had been engineered to travel further and faster than any human craft before. As he worked, small maintenance drones activated. Their sensors scanned him cautiously, but Elias quickly identified their programming. They were harmless, tasked with protecting the ship and maintaining its systems. Still, their presence reminded him that the ship was not just a machine. It was an environment designed to respond, adapt, and protect the colony's investment. Elias maneuvered carefully, demonstrating his human agility and intelligence, qualities that no machine could replicate perfectly. Hours passed as he familiarized himself with the ship. The AI explained its capabilities in calm, precise language. The propulsion system was powered by a combination of human-engineered reactors and energy fields that manipulated gravity. It could travel far beyond conventional limits, reaching distant stars that humanity had only dreamed of. Elias realized that the colony had succeeded where others had failed, leaving behind a treasure of knowledge and technology for the future. He explored the hangar further, finding smaller craft and research modules that had once supported the colony. Some were damaged, long forgotten, but others remained operational. Each artifact told a story of human perseverance, experimentation, and ambition. Elias paused at a small control station, activating a holographic map of the colony's surrounding region. The logs displayed a pattern of test flights, energy readings, and exploration routes, revealing the colonists' careful planning and daring vision. Then Elias noticed something unusual, a faint energy pulse beneath the floor. He bent low, scanning the source. His scanner revealed a hidden chamber beneath the hangar, sealed for decades. The energy readings were irregular like a heartbeat and seemed linked to the ship itself. Elias's curiosity spiked. Humans had left him clues, tests, and challenges, and this hidden chamber was part of the puzzle. He located the control panel for the floor locks and activated it. The heavy doors groaned, dust falling in clouds, revealing a narrow passage descending into darkness. Elias moved carefully, his boots echoing softly. The air grew colder and the hum of energy intensified. At the bottom of the passage, he found another room, filled with conduits, power nodes, and strange devices he did not recognize. Holographic logs projected automatically, showing the colony's engineers at work. "Energy flows are stable," one colonist said, adjusting a panel. "We must ensure the vessel is ready. Humanity's future depends on it." Elias felt a deep respect. These people had worked tirelessly, pushing the limits of technology, facing uncertainty, yet their focus had never wavered. They had trusted that someone would follow, someone human, to complete the mission they had begun. He returned to the ship and began running diagnostics. Systems hummed, lights blinked, and the AI responded to his commands. The vessel was alive, waiting for activation. Yet it required a human mind to unlock its full potential. A reminder that technology, no matter how advanced, relied on human courage, intelligence, and intuition to succeed. As he worked, the hangar's shadows seemed to move. Dust swirled in strange patterns, lights flickered unpredictably. Elias paused, hand on a console. Could the colony have left protective measures? Or was it simply the passage of time playing tricks on his senses? Either way, he remained focused, careful, and determined. He had come this far, and he would not falter now. He discovered a small compartment near the ship's rear. Inside was a set of encrypted logs detailing the colony's final mission plans. The colonists had intended to explore distant stars, gather knowledge, and return to benefit humanity. Yet something had interrupted their plan. The logs were incomplete, ending abruptly with a note that a human pilot was needed to continue the mission. Elias felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. The colonists had left him a challenge, a puzzle, and now the future of humanity's exploration rested in his hands. He realized that the ship was not just a machine, it was a test, a bridge between the lost past and the potential of the future. Hours became days as Elias worked tirelessly to understand the vessel. He mapped its systems, studied its energy flows, and trained with the interface. The ship responded to him, adapting and calibrating as he became more familiar with its controls. Every movement, every decision demonstrated human ingenuity, proving that even in the presence of perfect machines, humans held unique abilities that could not be replicated. One day, while examining the propulsion core, Elias noticed a faint symbol etched into the metal, almost invisible beneath decades of dust. It resembled a starburst, surrounded by intricate geometric patterns. His scanner identified it as a marker for the ship's primary energy source, a reactor designed to manipulate gravitational fields. Elias realized that this was the heart of the vessel, the key to unlocking its full potential. He carefully activated the core, watching as energy flowed through conduits and panels. Lights blinked rhythmically and the hum of the ship grew louder, almost like a heartbeat. Elias felt a thrill of excitement. The ship was alive, responding to his presence, waiting for him to take the next step. As he prepared to interface fully with the vessel, small maintenance drones activated again, moving cautiously around him. Elias smiled faintly. They were harmless, but they reminded him that the ship had been designed with foresight, anticipating challenges and protecting itself. Humans had built it to last, to survive, and to guide the next human pilot. Finally, after hours of preparation, Elias sat in the pilot's seat. The holographic interface projected star charts, energy readings, and mission parameters. The AI spoke calm and precise, human pilot recognized. Mission readiness confirmed. Destination parameters required. Elias took a deep breath. He knew that beyond this moment lay the unknown, distant stars and uncharted space. But he also knew that humans had always reached for the impossible, and now it was his turn. With determination, intelligence, and courage, he could continue the mission the colony had begun. The hangar seemed to hum with anticipation, as though the ship itself understood the moment's importance. Dust motes danced in the light, shadows stretched across the walls, and the silence of the moon was broken only by the steady pulse of energy from the vessel. Elias smiled. Humanity had built something extraordinary, and now it was ready to soar again. He activated the final systems, feeling the ship respond. Lights brightened, panels glowed, and the AI confirmed readiness. Elias gripped the controls, feeling the weight of responsibility and the thrill of discovery. He was alone, but he was human, and humanity's greatest strengths, courage, intelligence, and curiosity, would guide him. The lost colony had waited decades for this moment. Now a lone man stood ready to unlock the secrets of the past, carry forward the dreams of those who had vanished, and reach for the stars that had always called humanity to explore. The adventure was far from over. Commander Elias Drake sat in the pilot's seat, the cool metal of the controls beneath his gloved hands grounding him in the moment. The spaceship's systems were alive, humming softly, energy flowing through its conduits like a heartbeat. The AI's calm voice echoed in the cabin. Human pilot recognized. Systems online. Mission parameters pending. Elias took a deep breath, staring at the holographic displays in front of him. Charts of distant stars, navigation paths, and propulsion readings flickered across the panels. Every detail of the vessel's design reflected human ingenuity, the careful work of a colony that had dared to reach beyond the stars. The ship had waited decades for someone capable of understanding and commanding it, and now that someone was here, he began activating systems one by one, following protocols left by the long-gone colonists. Energy flowed into the propulsion core. Lights brightened along the walls, and the ship's mechanical systems responded with a quiet, precise rhythm. Elias felt a thrill run through him. This was no ordinary spaceship. It was the culmination of human ambition, creativity, and determination. The AI spoke again, its voice smooth and neutral. Mission logs indicate the colony intended to explore distant star systems and gather knowledge for humanity. Full mission parameters can only be unlocked with human authorization. Elias nodded, understanding the weight of responsibility. This was more than exploration. The colonists had left behind a legacy, and now it was his duty to carry it forward. His fingers moved over the controls, activating the ship's diagnostic systems, ensuring that every component was ready for the journey. As the propulsion core stabilized, a holographic projection appeared in the center of the cabin. It depicted the colony's final days, the colonists working tirelessly on their experiments and preparing the vessel for a mission they could not complete themselves. The last message was clear. A human pilot must continue. Only with human intelligence and courage can this mission succeed. Elias felt the weight of history pressing on him. These people had trusted another human to continue their work, to carry their dreams into the unknown. The responsibility was immense, but he also felt pride. Humanity had built this, and humanity could guide it forward. He began studying the navigation system, mapping the path to the distant stars the colony had intended to explore. Energy readings from the propulsion system indicated the ship could reach speeds beyond conventional limits, using a combination of gravitational manipulation and advanced reactors. Elias marveled at the technology, realizing that the colonists had achieved what many scientists on Earth had only dreamed of. As he worked, the AI's voice interrupted softly, warning legacy security protocols active, verification required. Elias's heart raced slightly. Security protocols left by the colony were meant to ensure only a capable human could operate the vessel. He approached the control console, entering codes derived from the colony's logs and his own calculations. The system responded immediately, verifying his identity and granting full access. The AI's voice acknowledged him. Authorization complete. All systems unlocked. The ship seemed to shift slightly, energy coursing through its frame as if acknowledging a new captain. Elias could feel the potential beneath him, the ability to reach places no human had ever been, to gather knowledge and bring it back for the benefit of all. He realized that this mission was more than adventure. It was a test of humanity's spirit, intelligence, and determination. He activated the ship's communication array, scanning for nearby signals. The moon colony's surface appeared empty, silent, but sensors detected residual energy fields in the surrounding area. The AI explained that these fields were remnants of the colony's experiments, designed to protect the vessel until a human pilot arrived. Elias smiled faintly. The colonists had thought of everything, leaving him a challenge that could only be solved through courage, intelligence, and careful thought. Hours passed as he continued preparing the vessel for departure. Energy levels stabilized, propulsion systems calibrated, and navigation routes plotted. The AI provided guidance but deferred all final decisions to him. This was the moment humanity had been waiting for. A lone human capable and resourceful, ready to continue a mission that had begun decades before. As he reviewed the final mission logs, Elias discovered a moral choice left by the colonists. The vessel had enough energy and resources for multiple missions, but only one could be completed immediately. He could either use the ship to explore new star systems alone, gaining immediate knowledge and experience, or he could follow the colonists' original plan, a longer mission designed to maximize benefits for humanity, requiring patience, careful planning, and selflessness. Elias paused, contemplating the decision. His fingers hovered over the controls, his mind weighing the options. He realized that this was the true test the colonists had left for him, not just operating the ship but making a choice that reflected the best of humanity. Courage alone was not enough. Wisdom, foresight, and compassion were required. Finally, he made his decision. He chose the mission that would honor the colonists' vision and benefit humanity the most. The AI acknowledged his choice with approval. Mission parameters confirmed. Humanity-focused trajectory selected. Elias felt a surge of determination. The vessel's energy surged in response, systems aligning for departure. He gripped the controls firmly, his eyes on the horizon displayed in the holographic interface. The moon's surface below seemed peaceful, silent, and ready to witness humanity's next step. He activated the propulsion system fully. The ship trembled as energy flowed through its core, gravitational fields manipulated and thrusters aligned. The hum of power grew into a steady roar, echoing through the hangar. Elias adjusted controls, fine-tuning the vessel's orientation. The AI provided feedback, but every decision was his. Outside the hangar, dust shifted as energy waves passed through the chamber. The doors were still, but the ship's power made itself known. Elias felt a sense of connection, human and machine working together, guided by intelligence, determination, and courage. The vessel was no longer dormant. It was alive, ready to continue a mission started long ago. Finally, he reached the final launch sequence. Holographic readouts displayed energy reserves, propulsion stability, and trajectory calculations. Elias checked every detail, confirming that the ship was ready. The AI's voice spoke one last time. All systems green. Human pilot ready. Launch sequence initiated. Elias exhaled, his heart pounding with excitement and responsibility. He engaged the controls, feeling the vessel respond instantly. The hum of energy intensified, thrusters aligning, gravitational fields stabilizing. With a final check, he activated the launch sequence fully. The hangar doors opened slowly, dust drifting in the pale lunar light. The ship's engines ignited, energy waves radiating outward. Elias felt the power beneath him, the culmination of decades of human ingenuity and ambition. The vessel lifted, ascending smoothly from the moon's surface. As the ship cleared the hangar, Elias looked back at the silent colony. Dust-covered structures stretched across the lunar surface, shadows of a past long gone. Yet their legacy lived on, not just in the ship but in the human spirit that had created it. Elias felt pride and gratitude. Humanity had built something extraordinary, and now it was his turn to carry it forward. The ship cleared the moon's low gravity, rising into the darkness of space. Stars stretched across the void, distant and beautiful. Elias set the course for the first destination on the colony's mission map. The journey would be long and uncertain, but he felt ready. Humanity's strengths, curiosity, intelligence, and courage would guide him. The AI spoke again, calm and precise. Mission underway. Humanity-focused exploration initiated. Estimated arrival, unknown. Elias smiled faintly. Unknown destinations, unknown challenges, and unknown discoveries awaited him. But he was human, and humans had always reached beyond the impossible. As the ship soared through the void, Elias reflected on the colonists' courage. They had faced unknown dangers, isolated themselves on a distant moon, and built a vessel capable of carrying humanity's dreams. Now their work would continue, not abandoned, not forgotten, but alive in the hands of another human willing to reach for the stars. The adventure was far from over. The ship's systems hummed steadily, propulsion fields manipulating gravity, navigation charts glowing, and the AI guiding the human pilot. Elias felt a profound connection, not just to the ship but to the generations of humans who had dared to dream, experiment, and build. Somewhere in the darkness, new stars awaited. New knowledge, new challenges, and new triumphs were ahead, and a lone human armed with courage, intelligence, and determination was ready to carry humanity into the unknown. The lost colony had entrusted their mission to him, and he would honor it. The journey had begun. Commander Elias Drake sat in the pilot's seat, eyes fixed on the star-filled void ahead. The lost colony's spaceship hummed with energy, a living testament to human ingenuity and determination. Outside, distant stars glimmered like scattered diamonds, infinite in number and impossible to ignore. Elias felt a mixture of awe and responsibility. The journey had begun and humanity's legacy rested in his hands. The first moments in deep space were mesmerizing. The ship's advanced propulsion system manipulated gravity fields, pushing the vessel beyond conventional speed. Time seemed to stretch, and Elias marveled at the clarity of the stars. He glanced at the holographic displays, navigation charts, energy readings, and mission parameters, all optimized for human operation but far beyond the technology of Earth. The colonists had truly built something extraordinary. AI. Elias spoke calmly. Status report. All systems stable, the AI replied. Trajectory correct. Estimated arrival at first waypoint, 28 standard hours. No anomalies detected. Elias leaned back slightly, letting himself absorb the moment. Alone in the vastness of space, he felt a deep connection to the humans who had built this vessel decades ago. Their courage, vision, and determination had left behind a path for him to follow. He realized that humanity's greatest strength was not machines or technology, but the curiosity, intelligence, and resilience of the human spirit. As he approached the first waypoint, the ship's sensors detected an anomaly. A faint energy signature, unlike anything documented in colony logs, appeared on the navigation display. Elias frowned. It pulsed irregularly, almost like a heartbeat. His instincts, honed from years of exploration, told him to investigate. "Prepare for close-range scan," he instructed the AI. The ship's sensors expanded, analyzing the anomaly in detail. Data streamed across the displays, energy patterns, gravitational distortions, and faint residual signals from an unknown source. Elias's mind raced, interpreting the information. The anomaly was not hostile, but it was intelligent in its patterns, responding subtly to the ship's movements. He decided to approach cautiously, maneuvering the ship with precision. The AI monitored the anomaly's reactions, adjusting propulsion fields to maintain stability. Elias felt a surge of excitement. This was the unknown the colonists had dreamed of, an opportunity to test human intelligence, courage, and adaptability against a challenge no machine could fully predict. As the ship drew closer, the anomaly revealed itself to be a cluster of dormant probes, left by an unknown species or civilization. They floated silently in space, powered down but still intact. Elias examined them, analyzing their design and energy signatures. They were sophisticated, far beyond the technology of the colony, yet dormant, waiting for discovery. He carefully maneuvered the ship among the probes, scanning each one. Data streamed into the vessel's systems, and the AI began translating patterns into comprehensible information. Elias realized that these probes contained knowledge, maps of distant star systems, energy manipulation techniques, and insights into interstellar travel. Humanity had found a treasure left behind by unknown hands. Hours passed as Elias cataloged the probes, recording every detail. He felt the thrill of discovery, the same feeling that had driven humans to explore Earth, then the Moon and beyond. Curiosity and determination had brought him here, and now those same traits allowed him to unlock knowledge that could benefit all of humanity. The next challenge appeared suddenly. A gravitational storm loomed ahead, rippling across space like invisible waves. Energy readings fluctuated wildly, threatening the stability of the vessel. Elias's heart raced. He knew that even with the ship's advanced technology, navigating this storm would require skill, intuition, and quick thinking. AI, prepare stabilization protocols, he commanded. The ship's systems responded instantly, adjusting propulsion, shields, and energy flow. Elias took manual control, guiding the vessel through the storm. Gravity fields twisted unpredictably, and debris floated like phantom obstacles. Yet every maneuver demonstrated human adaptability. Machines followed instructions perfectly, but it was Elias's intuition and courage that allowed the ship to navigate the storm successfully. After tense moments, the ship emerged unscathed. Elias exhaled, feeling the satisfaction of human ingenuity in action. The AI confirmed that all systems were stable. Human pilot performance optimal, it stated. All systems functional. Mission continuity assured. Elias smiled faintly. Machines were powerful, precise, and tireless, but humans added something that machines could not replicate: creativity, courage, and the will to survive and adapt. The lesson of the lost colony was clear. Humanity's strength lay not in perfection but in determination, intelligence, and resilience. As the ship continued its journey, Elias approached a distant star system marked in the colony's logs. The AI projected holographic maps of planets, moons, and orbital patterns. Among them, a habitable planet stood out, rich in resources and energy potential. The colony had marked it as a potential site for human exploration and future settlement. Elias prepared to descend. The ship's shields activated automatically, and the AI provided guidance for atmospheric entry. He marveled at the skill of the colony engineers, who had designed a vessel capable of reaching distant stars, analyzing unknown technologies, and surviving challenges that humans alone could not. The planet's surface stretched below, green and blue against the black of space. Elias guided the ship carefully, landing smoothly on a flat plateau. Dust and small rocks shifted under the vessel's weight, but it remained stable. He exhaled, looking at the planet with awe. Humanity had reached a new frontier, and he was the first to set foot on it. Elias exited the ship, stepping onto the alien soil. The air was breathable, though slightly thin, and the planet's sun warmed his face. He examined the terrain, noting its resources, climate, and potential for future exploration. Every detail mattered. This was humanity's next step, and the colony's vision had led him here. He planted a small flag near the ship, a symbol not of conquest, but of human achievement and perseverance. The lost colony's dream was alive, carried forward by a lone human willing to explore, discover, and honor the work of those who had come before. Elias returned to the ship, continuing to analyze the planet and the surrounding star system. The AI compiled data for future human missions, preparing detailed reports, maps, and energy analysis. Elias felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Humanity had not only survived but had reached beyond the known, achieving what once seemed impossible. As he prepared to leave the planet and continue the mission, Elias reflected on the journey. The lost colony had entrusted humanity's future to someone brave and capable. He had faced unknown challenges, discovered ancient technology, navigated dangers, and unlocked knowledge that would benefit all of humanity. Each step had demonstrated human ingenuity, courage, and determination. The ship lifted smoothly from the planet, ascending into space. Elias set a new course for the next waypoint, distant star systems marked in the colony's logs. The journey would be long, full of unknown challenges, but he felt ready. Humanity's legacy was alive in him, and the universe awaited. Hours turned into days as the ship traveled through the stars. Elias encountered cosmic phenomena, asteroid fields, magnetic storms, and energy anomalies, all requiring skill, intelligence, and careful thought. Each time, he relied on human creativity and adaptability, proving that humans could face challenges no machine could anticipate perfectly. Finally, he reached the outer regions of the mapped star systems. The AI projected new data, uncharted planets, energy signatures, and patterns in space that could guide future exploration. Elias felt a thrill of excitement. Humanity's reach was expanding, knowledge growing, and the dreams of the lost colony were coming to life. He looked out the window at the infinite expanse of space, stars stretching beyond imagination. The adventure had been dangerous, challenging, and exhilarating. Yet it had also proven something essential. Humans, though small and alone in the vast universe, possessed courage, intelligence, and resilience that could overcome any obstacle. Elias smiled. The mission was far from complete, but humanity had triumphed. The lost colony had built a vessel, left behind knowledge, and trusted that another human could continue their work. That trust had been justified. The ship's engines hummed steadily, the AI monitoring every system, and Elias set a new course for exploration. Unknown worlds, undiscovered civilizations, and infinite opportunities awaited. Humanity's journey into the stars was just beginning, and one lone human pilot had proven that intelligence, determination, and courage were the keys to success. As the vessel sailed through the darkness, Elias reflected on the lessons of the lost colony. They had trusted humans to be curious, clever, and brave. He had seen challenges, discovered ancient technology, and survived in environments machines alone could not navigate. Human ingenuity had triumphed, and somewhere among the stars, humanity's future was waiting, bright, boundless, and full of possibility. Elias leaned back in his seat, eyes on the glowing starfield, heart filled with hope. Humanity had reached the stars once more, not alone, but guided by intelligence, courage, and the determination that it all were.